Good morning. Good morning. Good Saturday morning. It's good to be back on here. Um, Coffee time with Brother Doug and Brother Pitcher. I hope everybody is doing well today. And if you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask us, just let us know and we'll do our best. Got a lot of stuff going on. This week was a busy week for me. It seemed like placing some of these people is harder in some circumstance, depending on a person's charge, makes it harder. But, Brother Martin, who I reached out to yesterday,
Who's that?
I, I reached out to my old probation officer, which is the head of probation in North Carolina. And I was telling him about the problem I was having trying to find this lady housing. And he gave me two places that possibly that I could place her. And he said, "You are doing such great a work." But he says, "I knew that you would do good because you would have empathy for these people because you know what they're going through." I felt
Right.
good about that. I did. And I said, told him, I said, "Thank you. I always try, and it bothers me so much when I can't find a place for them. Uh, just some situations is just harder than others. But I really, it was nice to be able to reach out to them on a different level and speak to them. Uh, and I spoke to the lady that was over me uh, at first. So I really had a great time on the phone yesterday. But I think that he give us some good leads to be able to help us, which it's not like he said it's not the best, but being the situation that that lady is in, uh, you know, it's really, really, really hard to find anything. And I mean, I know that the ultimate goal is to have something of our own where we can just place them within, um, our facility, but that's going to take some time. But was told by the probation officer that they had just got, I don't know if it was the feds or somebody else have gotten it. They had got a nursing home in Greensboro and they're converting it over to a reentry. So people is actually seeing that, hey, we need to do something. Um, I don't know. I see that that is the best route to go.
Yeah.
You know, something like that, or old college campus,
Right.
or an old
College
school.
rooms. Yeah. Gives you automatic rooms that are especially nursing home and uh, something like that. That's automatically set up already for apartments, and you got if not a private bath, a semi-private bath. So yeah, I mean that'd work out wonderfully.
So he let us know about that. And Greensboro is about an hour, probably hour and 30 minutes, which that's good because technically, um, I'm still working trying to get a vehicle. The Lord's going to provide. I know He will. He always does. Because one of the problems that I have is probation will put them on a bus and send them to the bus station, but then I would have to physically be able to take them from the uh, basically from the bus station to where they got to go if they're coming to North Carolina. Because see, I've got two that I'm working on now that's from Virginia, a male and one female, and both of them, I tell you what's hard, and I told Mr. Cameron this. It is so hard because the person that we're dealing with here is she's female, but she's also on the registry as well.
Right.
But when she went in to tell me, which I'm not going to say nothing on air, told me the situation, I was like, it's heartbreaking, it's sick, it's awful, but still, regardless of the fact, still have to keep going. And I told her I would do what I could, but I see why that nobody has taken this lady. But you cannot be like that because she explained to me that it was all issues from the DHS that basically stepped in and give her a hard way to go, and basically the kids turned on her, which I think that's not right. But uh, we're living in a crazy time anyway, and anytime you give authority, you basically stand up and say, okay, well, you're not playing your video game after 8 o'clock. Kids nowadays, they'll go berserk.
Yeah.
You take their phone away from them, they go berserk. Well, they should never have an outlet. I don't think that's not what DHS is for. DHS is not for, you know, them to come in and say, that's just my opinion. When it comes to like correcting a child, because back when I was a kid, Mom, if I got a whooping at school, I'd get a whooping here. So she'd go get a switch off of the tree, or I would have to go get it one, and I would get it when I got home. So but nowadays they don't want you. I read this thing by a psychologist, which I laugh every time what they say because they are not for the parent at all. They're not for chastising the children. They just say, well, if little Johnny is acting up, you just need to be sympathized. You need to sympathize with Johnny. I said, no, no, there was never nothing like that. you know, when I was a kid, there was no sympathizing. No, you knew you done wrong and you're going to pay the consequences. Because, see, that's why we have kids now that are growing up, going to prison, doing what they're doing. And why you have so much violence is because their mom and dad is scared to correct them. So when this right here, stuff like this, it just gets me. It just shows where we're at in the world today. It's sad, very sad.
Yeah, it is. It's just they've made it too easy for people to make false claims and then somebody get arrested and their life ruined, only to later prove that they were innocent the whole time. You can't get any of that back.
No, no.
It's just the legal system has just become so uh, inconsistent and so liberal in thought that you're basically, if you're a parent, you're afraid to say boo to your kids nowadays. You can't discipline your children because if you do, you're accused of being a fascist and running an Auschwitz at your own home. It's just ridiculous.
I agree with you, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I wish I could say that there's going to be a change, but I just don't think that it's just going to keep getting worse. I don't see anything getting any better.
I don't either.
I mean, when you know that we're in the last days, then that's what we are. We are in the last days, and there's nothing basically that, you know, all we can do, there is something we can do about it, pray and ask
Yeah,
God to help us through it. Uh, but that's really where we're at. A lot of people might ask about uh, my sweater and my hat. Actually, I went to vote for Brandon Johnson for sheriff, and we actually supported him because he came here and he talked to us, and he's really for rehabilitation. Uh, and Mom knew the people that was up there that was giving some of the stuff away. But I asked him, I went directly to him and I said, hey, do you, because we was supposed to have gotten a t-shirt uh, last month, but I was so busy, I wasn't able to go to any of his events. But he gave me this and he gave me the hat, which I'm greatly appreciated of. And he told me, he said, thank you for the work that you do because we need more like you in Surrey County. And, he knows me. I think I might have dealt with him way back in the day because he's been working at the sheriff's department for years, but now I think he's more went into like uh, drug task force and doing detective work. I think that's really what he's doing because you had to get out the way that it is if you want to run for a position in the sheriff's department, then you can't be a part of the sheriff's department
yeah,
unless you're just trying to be reelected.
yeah. It's funny how that operates. There are guys that they run for an office like sheriff, and they're a deputy or something that's worked under the current sheriff. And the next thing you know, these guys are being fired after they lose the election by the sheriff because now he's seeing them as being disloyal. So now they're hiring a new deputy, and the one they just fired usually goes over to a local police department and runs for or ends up being the chief of police.
Yeah, I
Just
know it. It's really crazy, very crazy. Uh, but I think really we are actually we're in a battle. I like I was telling you, I covered some of the Brian Laundry case, and then but actually working in the kind of work that we're doing now, a lot of times I might keep the news feed on, uh, but of course I can't do that if I'm doing interviews and things like that. I just can't do it. Um, but this case of the Guthrie, I had told people that I planned on doing a little bit of my thoughts on it, and probably be maybe later on tonight because I still wanted to get some of the footage and stuff to be that I can share as well. But I didn't know that you was telling me, and I knew that they had said that possibly that guy that guy's bandmate. that had came up a lot too, that they thought that he could possibly have been a suspect. Well, the FBI, nobody was saying that, but just the people online was saying that they thought that because of the photo um, of the bandmate and then the photo of the guy in the mask sort of looked pretty close alike. But I was shocked that they the way that things was with the where they arrested that guy that didn't have nothing to do, supposedly didn't have nothing to do with it, and then they just let him go. So I don't know if that was like a false tip that came in, which that's probably what happened. Because you know everything that comes in is not true, and people think crazy these days. So no telling what it was even about.
Yeah, it's hard to say with that. You know, it's a story as old as time where uh, depending on the evidence you have, it can lead you in one direction, but that direction might not be the right direction because you don't have all the evidence. You're basing a lot of what you're doing on assumptions based on what little evidence you have, and gets you in trouble every time.
Yeah.
You know, so
Now we will be selling these mugs here. Um, I'm planning on. Can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay. Uh, Planning on selling these mugs here. Um, they have the logo and everything on it, and then on the back side, it actually has. I don't know if I'm going to put this, but it basically has. When I was in criminal justice, and basically a little thing, but I may do something else for the other side. I'm not sure exactly what. I thought about putting uh, maybe a quote or something on the other side. I hadn't decided yet, but I do want to try to start uh, doing them and T-shirts and stuff, and that really helps too on spreading the word. Which I there's no. I mean, it seemed like everybody knows who we are now, which nobody knew who we was before. But um, the way that people's constantly. I got another lady that's a case manager in North Carolina sent me a message while I was on an interview with the lady, and basically wanted to try to get stuff ready for another individual that's being released. Um, so it's just constant. It's not like I don't have nothing to do. I I do
it,
have I do have things to do. Telemarketers, they're horrible, but I don't care what it is. I really need to start just shutting the phone off completely when I'm on a podcast and doing something, because really they can call back, especially on a Saturday. But I just forgot to turn it off because it's not like if mom wasn't here with me, then you know I would have to keep it on because if something was to ever happen to her and she'd be not close to me, I'd want to know. And I think that's one of the reasons that I really have gave this Guthrie case so much of, I guess, attention, and the way I feel about it is because I look at it. What would I do if that would have happened to my mom? You
mhm.
know, Mom's not near that age, but you know, and I stay here, but you never know what somebody may come in. I mean, we got enough cameras, but I wonder, I think that everybody, I always was against subscriptions, but it seemed like in today's society, you don't have much of a choice. I mean, they don't give you a choice anymore, where you about have to use a subscription. Like we have a subscription to Adobe, and we never had to have that before because we had the original. Like I think I said it in the last Saturday podcast, that I own the rights to that particular software. Uh, or I thought I did, but I guess not, because they said now it's not going to work. So they basically took
Mhm.
my rights from that, and it wasn't never nothing in no documentation unless it's something in little bitty tiny print. Uh, but now I have to pay like 20 some dollars a month. But I tell you, a blessing that happened to me last night. I was sitting here, actually laying in the bed, and I was going through Facebook, and all of a sudden I saw this thing to where if you are on disability or anything, where you could get your car insurance cheaper. Well, come to find out, that is just a scam on Facebook. That there is no auto relief for, I mean, a discount for anything unless you are in the military. But I've been with Geico for 8 years, ever since I have gotten out. I've been with Geico, and was paying, when I first started with them, I was paying $30 a month. $30 a month is what I was paying.
Mhm.
Well, I wasn't paying no attention, but I was looking at what they're charging me now was $56 a month. $56 a month. So I decided to call Progressive, and they ended up giving it to me for what? $30 a month. So I'm changing. I'm going back. Uh, why that they do that, I don't know. They just want to keep going up, going up. And when you call Geico, they're like, "Well, I'm sorry, you're at the lowest rate you can go." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. I'll just find me somewhere else to go." But I think that's just ridiculous the way they do people. I've never had an accident. Um, well, I have had an accident, but it wasn't my fault. And basically, I have a clean driving record and my credit's good. So what's going on here? I couldn't never really understand that. I don't know what they judging on, because it sure is not. When you're going up over a period of time and you have a good record, then there's not much of an incentive there.
Insurance is a scam. It's all it is. It's a big scam, and it's a legal scam. But insurance, the way they figure for auto rates, they don't figure it just based on you. They figure it based on uninsured motorists and the amount of money they've had to pay out for uninsured motorists, and they're going to make you pay for what they pay out for uninsured motorists, and that's why your rate goes up. When you have a area with a high rate of accidents, your insurance rate's going to go up. If you get any kind of claim that you put in, you're going to lose your insurance. It's just gotten to be utterly ridiculous with what they're able to do and legally get away with, because it's now mandatory to have auto insurance. But it's based on the rates are based upon the uninsured motorist claims. that are made every year in your area. Our insurance rates are, thankfully, mine's not incredibly terrible. I pay just over $45 a month on average. But most people around here, especially if they're younger, they're paying out the nose for insurance because the majority of claims that are made are uninsured motorist claims.
Ladybug, ladybug, fly away. You can come back another day. I've had trouble with ladybugs. I don't know
Are
what it
they
is.
are they the ladybugs or the Japanese beetles?
No, they're the ladybug. I'm trying to see if it'll get on my finger.
Bring it down. That brother is a Japanese beetle.
Huh?
That's a Japanese beetle. Looks like a ladybug, but it's not. It's orange and it has too many spots.
Okay, so the ladybug don't have spots.
Oh, it has spots. It just don't have that many. Like I say, they look a lot like a ladybug, but it's a Japanese beetle. They're invasive. They were brought over to kill aphids or something stupid from Asia, and like anything else where we've brought something in from another ecosystem, once they killed all the aphids, and then they had no food, so then they started going after everything else. Uh, and they come in swarms of thousands, tens of thousands of these things. There's been times when I've walked outside and all my ground does is crunch whenever I take a step because they are all over the place. And they particularly like to gather around doorways and windows.
Well, I know that they're bad to and you don't know how in the world do you ask yourself how in the world they're getting in. Because they have an issue of getting in and wanting to come in my bathroom. And I can basically every so often I have to take the broom and dustpan and just sweep them up off the floor. But it's happened like this since I guess because we live out in the country, and I mean it's everything tries to get in here,
Oh
which
yeah.
and you can't really you have to be careful what you spray because we have the dog. So you have to be very careful what you put
I've
down.
not I've not heard of anything that works to repel those things. Um, but yeah, there may be something out there, but I am not aware of it. Do we get them bad, and we live through the process because I mean it's a seasonal thing, and this is the time of year they start showing up too, and then they're just like mayflies. Come May, you get mayflies up along the upper Mississippi are terrible. You get swarms. It's like driving through a blizzard. They just swarm so much. So you have to stop and wait until the swarm moves, or you have to drive through the swarm, and hopefully you know the road you're on so you can stay in your lane. And but yeah, I mean those Japanese beetles are the same way. They're just terrible. They serve a purpose. I don't know what purpose it is, but they serve a purpose for something. It's just like when they planted all the kudzu to prevent erosion, and now you can't get rid of the kudzu. It's terrible. It takes over everything. It pulls down buildings. It pulls over utility poles. It's just bad.
I'm a
So
looking
they,
at that of how you did the place you went there to do them videos. They are so great. I really like how they turned out. but I was trying to look on here if you can do more than just
No.
this. It looks like they have what they call a fast and a pro.
Yeah. But yeah, it's basically you can do storyboards and you can do videos, is all I've noticed on there that they do. I didn't see where you could do image like you can on other places. Um, Now, you do know, do you have Microsoft Office?
Yeah, I've got it.
You go into Office and there's a thing that's called Create, and that's AI, and you can use that to generate images like you do with ChatGPT. It's called Copilot, M360 Copilot. Yeah, and just get in there. If you use the Microsoft Edge web browser, it's going to be right on top of your web browser with all your Office apps.
See, I'm a big. I'm actually. I don't really care for. I don't know. It's just me. Because I like Google Chrome a little better than I do any of the other browsers. I mean, back in the day, we we had a lot of different crazy things. I can't even remember what they was. I think there's more of terminals at that point. I think I was trying to see. I can't remember what I used to use. I know I remember using Firefox. I think at one point.
Yeah, I used Firefox for years, and then they changed how things operated, and I went away from Firefox. Um, I've tried some of these newer ones. I've just not been happy with them. You know, you know, Firefox. Uh, I don't use Google at all. Google it's tracking me enough. It doesn't need to track everything I do.
Well,
I don't even use.
you are exactly right. Exactly 100% right on what you just said. Because this whole thing with Nancy Guthrie, they're still able through Google, and they said that this goes against their privacy. What they actually say that they're doing online with their cameras, because supposedly they just keep it for a certain timeline, but they are seeing
Yeah,
that the timeline that they kept this information was actually over what they're supposed to keep it. So they said that a lot of people will probably be doing lawsuits over that since that came out. I mean,
oh yeah,
because really we can't prove nothing because with our data, because we're not like we don't can't get to their server to see if what they're doing is actually true unless something like this comes out.
right. And here's the problem is that um, they've encouraged, especially people living in cities, to get these Ring doorbells that have the camera, and people to put security cameras out. And basically, what they've done is they say, okay, we can't be everywhere, so we would like for you to sign up to allow us access to your home camera systems. The police department's asking this so that we can monitor if there's a crime in your community to see if the suspect passed your home in a vehicle or walked past your home, so that we so now they're using it as a investigative tool network, is what they're doing. They're networking all these cameras together so that they can monitor every move you make from the time you leave your garage to the time you get back to your garage. And any cameras you have in your home are on that same network, so they can see everything in your house. And it's bad enough that they now can take your Wi-Fi signal that's in your home, and they can actually use it as radar, and they can tell exactly what room of the house you're in, and the whole 9 yards. And that's what they've done with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I see that. I see it's really crazy. I mean, we've got uh, two, three, four, five, six, about seven cameras, I guess you'd say we got here. Actually, I think I got eight. Seemed like I bought four and mom bought four. I think we got eight. Actually, 10 because we still have the two that was going. Um, but on the only reason that I done this is when we actually put our office out here,
Right,
and the people that that I'm dealing with is felons. So but I won't go on air on how everything is set up, but you can best believe if they're out there, it notifies my phone. If anybody is coming in, it notifies me, and I can actually talk to them through the thing. If
right.
so, I'm not really worried. And people say, "Well, what would you do if they took it? Uh, if they took it with them?" Well, that's fine. That's fine because the data is still stored on my phone because it automatically, while it's going, it downloads to my phone. So I'd still have it. So all of them are not that way because if you know how to do it, then you can have it to where it won't send it to the cloud, that it will send it directly to your phone. And that's what
Right.
I'll have it do is do that. I don't use the cloud. Well, actually, free, it does send a cloud for 24 hours. It does go to the cloud. That's automatic, which I could turn that off because that's just another way of surveillance, I think, is the
Well, sure.
cloud. But really, I mean, I look at it like this, and I mean, I'd never looked at it like this before, but I always said, but since I'm getting older, I'm like, I know that I'm not doing nothing wrong. So I don't like that they're watching, but I'm not doing anything that I'm not supposed to be doing. But at the same time, it's like, well, we don't have any privacy. That's how I'm looking at it now. That it's crazy because they don't want you to have the privacy.
No. They see you and I and others like us are uh, what most countries would consider model citizens. We don't go out and do crazy stuff. We, mind our own business, and we, when we were working, we went out and we worked a job and collected our paychecks, and took care of our families and did everything we were supposed to do. But in our society today, uh, we are the enemy. And it's because of what we believe about the Bible. If you're a true born again, blood washed Christian, you are the enemy. If you're a King James only born again, blood washed Christian, you are enemy number one because they want to get rid of the King James
True.
Bible. uh, you know, and people just don't realize that this is the progression that Paul talked about in First Thessalonians. It's all. I'll get my Bible over here because it's crazy when you see what's written about the end of the church age. When you're looking at First and Second Thessalonians, and even looking in the pastoral epistles of Timothy and Titus, you look at those and you're going, wow. Um, it just it's incredible the description that you get about the last days. Um, oh, let me go over here and find this real quick if I can. You know, no, sweetie. Okay, First Timothy chapter 4. It says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their consciences seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats, which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth." Now, does that not sound like half of the commercials you see on TV?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, we want you to get rid of your meat. We're going to feed you this. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, all this fake food. Everybody's going on about fake food now with Robert Kennedy Jr. Up in there doing his thing. God bless his heart. Uh, I don't agree with some of the stuff he does, but he's doing some good stuff as well. But this did you ever notice that you get Beyond Meats and Impossible Burger and all this other stuff? How these people that don't want you to eat meat have to make their vegetable substitute look like meat and taste like
Yeah,
meat, because if it doesn't look like or taste like meat, you're not going to eat it. And it's crazy that these, well, you shouldn't eat meat. Well, then why do you want your food to look like what I eat?
I tell you, there's a guy. Actually, he's a boy. Well, I think he's 18 or 19, but he's in college. But he has a thing on Facebook, and the only thing he drinks real milk from the cow.
Right.
Gets it at the farmer, and he also eats meat every day, real meat. And he says you need to be a real man and eat and drink real stuff. But I don't even know if in North Carolina, I don't know if it's legal to actually buy. Um, well, I think Trump said something about. I thought he signed something about milk, so you could get real milk. I think.
Yeah, raw milk. They're
Yeah.
they're they're working on making it legal again to be able to get raw milk. Now, I can't get raw milk anywhere near me because of the laws, but I do drink whole milk. I don't go for anything other than whole milk.
Oh, I don't either.
Because they're taking out the important nutrients. What they're doing with, like, say, 1% and 2% milk and even skim milk, it's all watered down. They strain the fat out of it, and they water it down, and you might as well be drinking powdered milk. Basically, because that's all it is powdered milk that's been reconstituted uh, and done poorly. Uh, I've had enough powdered milk in my life to know what powdered milk looks like and tastes like, and 2% and 1% look like powdered milk. It just
They look like water, really. Because
right.
I
But,
don't even, I never liked 2%. Now, growing up, mom, she was always on the diet. So she would always buy 2%. Well, when I come home, I said, look, there's not going to be no 2%. I'm not buying it. I'm not going to buy 2% because it's like drinking water. And
well,
so ever since I've been home, I drink the regular, you know, milk, and I try to get, you know, good meat. That's one of the things that's really hard because, there's so much processed stuff out there. And Brother Sonny would shoot me for saying this because he loves McDonald's. It seems like he's always at McDonald's. But I don't know. I'm the kind of person I do not like We do, yes, we do eat at fast food places from time to time. We do. Uh, but that's something that I think when it comes to like the chicken nuggets, for instance, you have some that I've been buying them from Sam's Club, but some of them would taste, you could taste like it's been processed, and then you have some that actually taste like, okay, this is the real deal. But some of the stuff that I've ate, uh, I think it was last month, I had bought some uh, from Sam's Club, and I could tell that it just didn't taste right. I mean, and I don't really, I'd like to keep everything from not, I can't say not being processed because everything is processed to some degree, but the least they mess with it, the better off we are.
Yeah, you can go to a farm and you can buy all your meat from the farm. Uh, just for our audience to be aware, all of that meat's processed. The fact that they butchered that cow or that hog or whatever it is you're going to be eating, that's processing. So, you got to really be careful when you're saying the word process, because all food is processed. I Even a whole chicken, it's processed. You have to take the feathers off, you have to gut it. That's a process, and it's what you're
Hmm.
doing. You're processing the food to make it edible. Yeah, if you want a half a cow, I'll give you a half a cow, but it's already been processed because I've skinned it, I've gutted it, I've trimmed the hooves off, taken the head off. You don't have to do none of that, but that's processed food.
Hmm.
The big problem is over processed food.
Yeah.
Uh, it's when you get that chicken nugget that starts out as that pink goo that you see on TV. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. But all you got to do is look at the bags. Now, I'm not a chicken nugget person, but you can look at the bags and it'll say chunks of whole white meat chicken. Okay, so that's what that is. It's just a breast that they've cut into chunks, and then they dipped it in the batter breading, and put 10 times the amount of breading on it as they do the chicken. And so by the time you get it and you fry it up or bake it, and you're eating 2/3 breading and 1/3 meat, because that's how they make their money. Because they sell that stuff by weight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that
It's
I have thought this time uh, when I go back, because I should be going, if not this weekend, definitely next weekend, because I've got to go ahead and get my glasses. I've been putting it off, but I've got to try to get them. And I think what I'm planning on doing is getting, instead of getting the chicken nuggets, to looking at um, maybe like wings uh, that have, basically the wing with the bone. Because see, mom always says, well, you don't need to get it with the bone because it actually, the bone adds the weight to the,
right.
so I guess it's one of them situations. Well, if you want something like you say that's been less processed, then I guess it's better to get the bone in wing.
Well, there is something you could do. Instead of getting chicken nuggets, get the ones that are labeled chicken tenders, because that's strips of whole white breast meat, and they're usually long strips instead of the short nuggets. And get the
I have
chicken
bought
tenders.
them.
Um, because I'm not even a chicken tender person. if I'm going to eat chicken, just throw the whole thing in the fryer and bring it to me. I'll eat it. You know, well, I go to Gus's Chicken, and I get half a chicken every time I go in. I don't eat the whole thing when I'm there, but I get a half, and then that way I can take some home, have it the next day. I just love Gus's fried chicken. But it's like I just never. I didn't wasn't raised on nuggets. We didn't know what a nugget was. You know, Big Mac. What was that? Well, that was a thick hamburger that your mom patted out in the pan and put it on two slices of bread. And if you were fortunate, she'd throw some Thousand Island dressing on it to make you think you'd gone to McDonald's. Otherwise, you got mustard, ketchup, and mayo, and maybe a pickle. Uh, and that was your Big Mac. I had, and that was my Big Mac. And if you wanted a Big Mac with cheese, then you had to wait for commodities when they had the big old blocks of cheese that they'd hand out.
Oh
So
my! But you know what? That was the best cheese.
it was excellent cheese. It made Belvita cry. I
Oh, I
mean,
know
it
it.
was good cheese. But and I've used butter for years. I never got on the margarine kick. It's always been butter. I've cooked in lard. Every vegetable oil is forget the vegetable oil. Give me some good old fashioned lard. Just some good old fashioned pork fat, and let me melt that down and just get everything saturated in that pork fat. Now everybody's wanting. Well, we want to use beef tallow. That's just cow lard. You got pork lard and you got cow lard. That's what tallow is lard. It's a fancier word so they can charge you more for it. Ooh, that sounds fancy. It's tallow. Um, but I see that Wendy's has finally decided that they're going to go back because when they originally made French fries, when they had the best French fries out there, them in McDonald's, they always cooked them in beef tallow. And then they switched over to the peanut oil and then the oil combos to save money. Well, now they're going back to cooking their fries in, guess what? Beef tallow. Because everybody complains about how nasty French fries have gotten in fast food restaurants. Well, they're going back to tallow. Well, now we ain't got enough beef tallow to go around. It's like, but that's because the market, was flooded by customers that they didn't have before. It's got nothing to do with a shortage of cows. It's got to do with a market that just all of a sudden opened up and exploded. A
Well,
lot
I
of these
know
short.
that, like, that's the same thing with, it just made me think about how this whole AI has exploded so much. And it's really costing the American people because, like, since they're trying to build all of these servers and everything, memories went up, hard drives has went up, everything to do with computers because of this AI. And I said, you know what? The sad thing about it is, once they go up, they never go back down.
Right. I mean, it's like I tell people, especially when gas started going up in the '90s, and it got up above a buck 50. I said it'll never be below $1.50 again. When it went up over $2, it'll never be below $2 again, and it hasn't been. It's not even gotten close in our area. Now, some areas have gotten below $2, but not here. And it probably won't go below $2. Yeah, and it's all to do with greed.
Well, I think what
That's
we
all it
pay,
is.
I think about 247 usually. 240 to 280 is about what we pay. It hasn't.
Yeah,
We haven't seen anything yet uh, under $2. But now I do have to say that I remember when I first started driving, uh, I was paying a gallon 70 some cents. It might have been lower in some places, but usually the stores most of them that I went to was like 78, 79 cents. And I was like, I never thought in a million years that you'd be paying over $1, let alone $2 or $3. Because I remember when I came home, whew, gas was $3 and something, and we was so glad that with the administration and stuff of Trump, he really works hard to for the American people. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about him, but hey, at the end of the day, at least I can say that he's at least putting the effort in, and he does what he says he's going to do. Because they ain't no president in a while that actually has done what they say they're going to do. Okay, I'm going to do this, and he actually does it. But the people that I get going about it is, the people that voted for him because he said that he was going to do this. When he starts doing what he says he's going to do, then people say, "Whoa!"
Yeah, yeah. We want you to say it, not to actually do it.
Yeah, because
We
they're
don't
not
have nothing to
going to do it.
complain about anymore. Uh, when people started complaining about the price of gas, I said, you've got to quit complaining about the price of gas. Like I said, gas yeah, it's scarce and all this other stuff they'll tell you, but the cost of milk is higher than the cost of gas for a gallon. Milk is a renewable resource, but yet you're paying more for milk than you're paying for gasoline. That's what you should be complaining about, not the price of gas, the price of milk.
Well, I know. Now, I do have a question. I guess I could just Google it because I was wondering if I could get uh, raw milk around here. I don't know what the law is here. If it's where you can't get it, or it says that there's a organic farm in Pinnacle, North Carolina. It looks like, so that might be a place to
That would be
swell.
a place to start. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd call them.
because I would say it'll be a while before it'll actually be like in stores and stuff where you can buy it.
Oh, that's if a store wants to handle it. That's the other problem. See, because not every store is going to want to handle raw milk.
Because usually the date it don't last as long, right?
Right.
That's like a
Because,
lot of stores won't. And I'm on this kick where I absolutely love it. Is potato bread. Never had it, and when I tried it,
oh,
I liked the potato bread way better than any.
potato bread is wonderful.
And Mom, she's got the recipe, so we're gonna try to make it. Maybe this weekend. We have to see. Because after I get done with the podcast, I've got to go um, take stuff to the dump. All these boxes I've got to take to the dump. I got to tell you what T-Mobile done, and I may have to get with you later to ask you some questions, some technical questions. They sent me this, which is it's an Inseego wave maker um, mesh that they
Oh,
sent me. Usually
mesh internet.
yeah, we would usually have to pay, but she said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take off your bill completely, and then you buy this," which was $170. So basically, I got a better deal by just paying for this and not having to pay for the internet. But that was just a deal she made me. But the kicker is, if I when I put my modem in pass through mode, so that way it will go into my router, then it disconnects the Wi-Fi. That this actually, so this won't work. So I'm going to try to see if there's a way to where I can still use the two devices, or if I would have to tell them, well, I think you need to send me two Inseego wave makers instead of two, um, instead of one router and a mesh, because I've got to try to think about that. I haven't had time to work with it, but I know as soon as I switched it over, of course, it cut the Wi-Fi off, and then it cut off the mesh. And I don't know if there's any way around that or not.
I don't know that much about mesh at all. I've not really dealt with it, not really thought about it. Uh, and once we got our fiber optic out here, it's like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to worry about anything because we have unlimited speed and all that other stuff, and we don't pay that much per month for it compared to what other folks pay for their internet. And we got rid of the thing that cost us a lot was that dish TV. Uh, that cost us almost $300 a month.
Oh my
And
gosh!
yeah, my wife finally got rid of it. It took her a while. Uh, I don't watch enough TV to where it matters, but it took her a while. I had a Roku device, so I'd been using Roku for whatever I needed TV wise for several years, um, like 15, 16 years. Whenever Roku came out, I got a device and started using it instead of, cable TV or any of that other mess, unless it was part of a package for internet. I didn't get any subscription TV services because they charge you a whole lot. And who has time to watch 800 channels?
You
I mean,
ain't gonna
come
do
on.
it. You ain't
You,
gonna do
you,
it.
and of those 800, there's probably 790 you don't like. You're going to watch 10 at most.
Now, does your
And
wife, does she like to watch like the cooking shows?
oh yeah, she cooking shows. Anything that has to do with food, whether it's talking about food processing, talking about food chemistry, talking about that's what she does.
Hmm.
She's a food scientist, and they pay her to be able to taste it and then duplicate it. That's what she does. She gets paid to play with her food, as she'll tell you, and she does play with her food even at the house. We'll get something that she sees in the store that's new or somebody's done something different, and she'll have to buy it to try it. What did they do to make this? And I mean, you can see her. She'll sit there and she'll take a little taste, and you can see the wheels just spinning in there. And she's just mm, and then another little bite, and okay, I pick up a hint of this, and yeah, they got a little of that in there, and she'll take another. I mean, and she will dissect that down to the last granule of salt.
I bet she knows because I've been trying to actually find because nobody knows what the actual we recipe really is for it. But you might have remembered these. They're called sin way back in the day. It
Yeah,
was a breath mint. Well, me and mom, we've tried to hunt for even the possibility to find the sin, the recipe. Well, I've got tried to get a hold of the people that had it, which was I forget the company, and they actually sent me free a whole box of Simpsons. Well, then they went out of business. They've been out of business for a long time now. And so when I tried to get a hold of the main guy, um, he says, "Well, I don't have that." He said because basically everything was sold at the auction.
Yeah.
So I guess whoever bought uh, the thing that they used to cook it or the oven or whatever, they might have gotten that recipe. Somebody has got that recipe, um, but it's like it was. I think it was actually started in the 1800s. I think the late 1800s is when it started.
Well, here's the thing about what you're talking about recipes. Um, let's say the company my wife works for goes in and buys a smaller company that's for sale. When they buy that company, they will buy they're purchasing all of their formulas, which you would call a recipe,
Yeah,
and all of their customers. Um, and that usually goes with the company. Now, when you have something going up for auction, they'll sell the formulas separately because the formulas are more valuable than the equipment. So people will bid on these formulas and they will keep them. They will never release them. But it's just part of the process in the food industry is that it's a very well kept secret because there's a lot of industrial espionage in the food industry. I was really surprised, but there is. It's no different than a musical artist ripping off somebody else's intellectual property and using it, copyright infringement. You get the same thing with food. Well, your spice mix tastes too close to mine. You've copied it from somewhere. I need to figure out who it was. Number one, that gave you that mix formula, and number two, scalp them, and number three, take you to court and scalp you for using my formula. And once the two formulas are compared, the court finds out, well, they aren't even close. Blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. Um, but it's funny. You would think that they were working with top secret government defense contracting, and it's the Chinese and the Russians are trying to steal our secrets. And this is how tightly held these recipes are in the food industry. It's actually funny that take the recipe for Coke. It's hidden in two separate safes. Half of it's in one, the other half's in another safe. That way you can never get the whole recipe in one shot.
that's
It's
something.
I did, and but that's how much intrigue it goes on behind the doors of the food industry. It's vicious. It really is.
But I looked at it like this, like okay, the Simpsons. I know most of the ingredients, but of course they do leave out some. Uh, but I went as far as the guy that had the recipe, that actually made the recipe. All of his documentation with all the basically with everything was is at a library. So I contacted that library and I said, "Can you tell me if there's any formula in there?" And they said there is no formula because other people have asked as well, trying to get the formula for it. And I said, "Okay," but they said there was information like when they had went to purchase, different ingredients. So I mean, yeah, that would tell you probably the ingredients that is not listed on the back of their package. Um, but I think in today's society, I think you have to put every ingredient on the back. I don't think you can hold back at all. I mean, of course, you're not saying this much to put in or whatever, but I think you have to have everything listed in today's world in case somebody was allergic to something.
Yeah, and it's who knows? It's crazy. It's sad, but a lot of nostalgia is gone. What we call nostalgia, stuff that tasted good
Oh yeah.
disappeared. It was replaced with this stuff that tastes horrid.
Well, Mama, she's knew for a long time. I've got folders. I mean, literally folders in on the server, on my computer, on my phone, since then. And if I get any information, I put it in there, and then I look over it later, and it just was. I don't know. It was just something that I absolutely loved as a child. And I mean, some people did not like the taste. Some people, they hated the taste of Sin, and you go on and you see that how people said, "Oh, it was horrible. Tastes like a bar, like you was eating soap." I mean, it's a different taste.
Since wasn't it a licorice
It
kind of?
was, it was, and it was more of a breath freshener, but it was really a breath freshener for people that smoke and that
Right.
drink. So that way you couldn't tell what was on your breath. But I mean, I used to get it when I was, I guess, like 12 or 13 years old. I mean, maybe younger than that. Mom used to give me because it was just a little tiny little thing. You put it on your tongue, and it was just a great breath freshener. I thought.
But I mean, uh, today there's very few that are still breath mints that are like Sensen with the licorice. Barclays is one that I know a lot of people use that used to use Sensen. So, but to be able to find the formula for Sensen, I don't think you're ever going to be able to do that unless somebody dies and leaves it in a will that they are to put it public. It's not going to happen. Somebody's going to guard that secret, and they're going to pass that secret on to their kids. It's sad to say, but that's how it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
because that guy that had the sense in, uh, he actually was the one that developed the gummy bears. It's the same guy that
okay,
got it
yeah,
is actually does that. Because I asked him, I said, since it's not being used, could you give it to me? And he just never answered. He just never
yeah.
answered. He
Which
just
means he's
no,
not going to talk about it. He's not going
no.
to tell you. He's not even going to tell you he has the recipe. He's he's going to just act like you never even asked the question.
Basically.
See,
Well, brother, we might as well go ahead and wrap this up, and because I know that I've got to go give paid the payment uh, for the building. I got to go pay that, and then go by and take all these boxes to the dump and go try to look for us a mailbox. And
okay.
so it looks like our day is going to be one of those days. At least I feel better, and I feel, some days is better than others, but
Yeah.
I
Sounds
do
like you
feel
had
better today.
sounds like you had a full day ahead. So I'll go ahead and close in prayer. Father, we
All
just
righty.
thank you so much for the opportunity to come together on this day. We just pray, Father, that you just be with Brother Doug and his mom as they run around taking care of the just normal day-to-day things they have to take care of, but also be with them physically, help them both to heal up and feel better from the illnesses that he's had, and just continue to touch her body and allow her and encourage her to just continue to be faithful at school. And we just pray, Father, that you continue to watch over each one of us throughout this week. Use us for your honor and glory. All this we ask in the hope of the return of Jesus Christ coming soon. Amen.
Amen. It's not going to be long. Not going to be long at all.
No, sir, it's not. Well, you have a great day, brother, and I will
You
see
too.
you when I see you.
Okay. All right.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye.